I'm Grump, I'm not so Grump, and we're the Game Grumps.
This is the last level of Katamari.
What's up, you sexy bitches?
Whoa.
You tender, loving bitches.
You're making me hot. You're making me hot.
I'm sorry
So, here's the deal.
if I'm making you too spicy and sexy.
We have to...
Sexy spicy.
We have to make the moon
We gotta make them fucking moon?
100 meters.
Oh my god.
100 meters. Which is ironic.
Do you know Esperanto? He sells me weed.
I'm asking for a friend. It's ironic that the moon is the last level and yet it's the smallest of any of them.
Yeah, it's not as big as a star.
No, it's especially a group of stars that are billions of miles away from each other.
Oh, dude, have you ever seen Scale of Universe?
Is it like a thing that just like zooms out and zooms in?
Yes.
And you can do it at your own leisure?
Yeah! You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. There's this, one of my favorite websites ever, scaleofuniverse.com, I believe. It's basically just like, it starts off with people, and then you zoom out, and then it shows you a comparative size of like a dinosaur, and then it gets bigger, and it's like a house, and then New York, and then America, and then Earth. And then it goes farther and farther out, and then you see the sun, and the sun dwarfs Earth. Then you get to like a giant star that's so huge that the sun is like one tiny pixel. And then you keep zooming out, and then you get to a star where that star that dwarfed the sun is one tiny pixel. And you keep going farther and farther out until you just get to like the edges of the knowable universe, and you're just like, fuck, I'm very small. And then and then you zoom all the way back in, and then you go the other way, and like you get past people, and then you get to like a mouse, and then you get smaller, you get to like a dust mite, and then eventually you're getting down to like a single atom, and then like a single particle of a single atom. And,
man.
And it just like goes smaller and smaller, and then you're like, I'm a fucking gigantic monster, you know? Like it's just such a cool reminder of how important / not important you are in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I should definitely lend you Tezuka's Future.
What is that?
It's the Phoenix book that I let Barry
Oh,
borrow.
yeah.
It's kind of about that. It's one of the stories that spans like fucking billions of years. It's awesome.
That is awesome. And I mean, I guess it's all relative. Like, you're as important as anything else, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Because what's huge to you is small to something else, and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactary. The fucking atoms inside you that are all tiny galaxies that have little people living in them, or they depend on you to be living.
Yeah, they do.
Those little slug people.
Right.
That live in the slug solar system.
Did you
That live inside of your one atom on your finger. Depend on you to not touch things and squish your finger.
I used to think about that, actually. I used to personify everything. So like, if I think Susie said she did this too. Like, if you had toys that you hadn't played with in a while, like you'd think like, oh, those toys are sad.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And like, I used to think everything had a personality. So like, I was afraid, like, what if there is a galaxy on the end of my finger, and like if I press it down too hard, I'm a destroyer of worlds. You know.
You are.
Yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like just like nothing that we can do about the giant asteroid careening towards Earth right now that's going to kill us all in 2035.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, you say that now, but then in 2035 there's going to be a fucking news article on fucking Cracked, and it's going to be like, Game Grumps called it.
I'm Cracked. Your source for science news. Actually, it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
it's just like the fucking whenever people post up that image macro of like the time machine counter and Back to the Future, and people are like, this is the year.
Yeah.
This is the year that the Back to the Future happened, but like it still hasn't been the year yet.
Yeah, you remember that fictional story? This is when it happens. Like, that wouldn't matter.
And somebody had to go through and take a screenshot of that screen and realize that they're wrong, and then Photoshop the wrong answer in order to appear right.
Let me tell you something I learned about the internet. People on it,
Yeah.
they got a lot of free time.
Well, it's not so much the free time, it's just that the right answer is staring them in the face. And then they're like, no, I'm convinced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to edit this in order to make sure everybody knows that I'm right.
Well, there's plenty of that too. Like, hey, all the evidence points to this one thing. Think I'll manipulate it so it fits into my made-up version of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, been going around for years, though.
Yeah.
Since fucking Hippocrates. Remember that guy?
Nope.
Neither do I. I don't even know if it's a real person. It just sounded like a name.
Hippocrates. The world's first hypocrite.
That's why they call it that.
I guess so.
Hippocrates. Is that like the act of being a hypocrite? Hippocrates?
I don't know. He was probably just some douchebag. Well, because like the way people say like you're a Benedict Arnold, like that's like shorthand for like someone who betrays everything he stands for.
Is that what Benedict Arnold did?
I would assume so. I knew, like so much else that we discuss on this show. It's something I once knew from school and has now completely been erased from my mind.
No, it's super important, the things that you learn in school. For example,
Right.
I learned
Yes.
that Rustic County, Maine
Yes.
is a really good place for potatoes.
Is that right? Well, see, I didn't even need to go to school for that.
Yep, you
That's
had me.
That's free knowledge. Mm-hmm. You can tuck that away.
So if I ever want to go to Rustic County, Maine...
I've never been to Maine.
Really?
Yeah,
I have.
I'd like to go.
Maine's one of those places where it's like, you go there, and then it's like, hey, we're gonna go to New Hampshire, and then you're like, oh, geez, I better get ready for a long trip, and they're like, no, it's like down the road. And then you're there, and then you're like, oh man, Maine is... You're just driving around, you're like, oh, Maine is beautiful, and they're like, no, we're in Vermont. And you're like, oh.
Well, I'd just like to go to, first of all, that's absolutely true. New England is very, I don't want to say interchangeable, that seems rude, but there's a lot of trees.
Look, there's a whole lot of trees.
Yeah.
I'm not being racist or anything.
Yeah, I don't want to be...
It's just true.
I don't want to be botanist. But yeah, it's... Well, because we've been to San Diego. Mm-hmm. We've been to, Seattle.
Which is disgusting, by the way. Brush that shit off before you put it in the microwave.
What, San Diego?
Yeah.
Oh. San Diego. So smart.
I know, dude. I'm always thinking of new comedy. It's always coming to me like a fucking...
Can you... Oh, I love how jiggly that alligator is. And now the buffalo's like, oh, I got that alligator jiggling fever.
I just got too close to the alligator. Now I'm jiggling like a maniac.
I knew it would come to this. Oh, man.
Oh, that's going to be like my fucking new thing now.
What?
When I get all hyper, I'm going to be like, ooh, I got that alligator jiggling fever.
I kind of love it. Yeah, so where was I going with all that? Oh, just like we've been to San Diego and Seattle and Miami, so that's like 3 corners of the country, and like Maine is the remaining corner that I've never checked out.
Oh, I see.
So it would be cool to go.
It's cool. There's a lot of lobsters.
I like lobsters.
Lobsters are delicious.
Although I will say that I cried the first time my parents brought home lobsters from the supermarket and we had to cook them.
Oh, because they were still alive?
Yeah, because they were like hanging out in my bathtub and I was like, these are amazing! And then my parents were like, well, time for death.
Yeah, and you throw them in the pot and they're like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's just the sound of air escaping.
yeah, but like, it's still dying. It's still boiling to death. Like, just because it doesn't have a fucking, like, lungs to scream doesn't mean it's not horrible.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they are.
We squash bugs all the time, and they're practically the same thing.
Yeah, are lobsters a type of arachnid? I could be wrong on that.
No, they're
Are crafts? Is that what crafts are?
No.
Something is an arachnid.
They're... Fuck. I'm not gonna say anything because people are gonna be like, no!
I'm gonna look it up.
You're wrong!
I'm gonna look it up. Oh, god damn it, the Barry Dick song is like... I can't get it off my phone.
When you said Barry Dick song,
Yep.
I thought that there was like an old-timey 50s like black jazz singer named Barry Dix.
Oh, like, it's like that fucking article I was telling you about. Like, tired gay succumbs to dicks.
Yeah. So
There's a famous article, like, the last names of two, like, famous track runners are Gay and Dix, D-I-X. And so, I guess, like, Dix won a race. And, like, the headline was tired gay succumbs to dicks.
well, next time on Game Grumps, we'll find out just who is tired, who is gay, and...
If lobsters are arachnids.
Which is not... no.
Or are lobsters arachnids? Wait!
Yeah?
Lobsters are part of the animal group known as arthropods. Insects, spiders, arachnids, centipedes, millipedes, shrimp, lobster, and crafts are all arthropods.
What?
Yeah. We were kind of right!